This is a review for Season 5, Episode 10, Mother's Mercy. Reviewing by location and character. Let's get the lowest point of this episode for me over with first. Stannis. At one point, I felt like I was watching a movie that follows a guy whose day just keeps getting worse and worse. Half his army leaves him, because every person that stands watch at night is deaf and dumb. Then he finds out Selyse killed herself. And then Melisandre leaves him. If that isn't enough, he then arrives at Winterfell and his army is quickly decimated by a larger Bolton force. I have known or felt for a while that Stannis would die in the books. Heck, even Stannis kinda knows his fate. But him going out like this was not how I imagined it. Where was Stannis the strategist? The great military leader? Honestly, most changes I can understand with the show, but D&D kinda made Stannis look like a big joke, which is a plus for anyone that hates book Stannis. But it really seemed like in the show, they just didn't have time to show Stannis winning a few battles and then dying. They really made it appear as though they wanted to quickly get through his storyline. And in the process of doing that, they kind of butchered bits and pieces of Stannis. Mel leaving Stannis, this has led to some conspiracy theories. Some people think she burned Shireen to give herself a clear path back to the Wall, but then why would she look devastated at Stannis' men leaving? I think it's more likely Mel thought the burning would aid Stannis. Mel is terrible at interpreting her visions. She saw the Bolton banners burning, but didn't realize that that doesn't necessarily mean Stannis is the one defeating the Boltons. When half of Stannis' men left, I think that became very clear to her, and she wanted to GTFO before Stannis' wrath would be brought down on her. But can you imagine what Stannis might be thinking when he hears Melisandre fled? Either one, Mel's magic is real and she chose to abandon him at his moment of need, or two, she was somehow duping him and she might be a fake and he murdered his own daughter for no reason. Did her leaving and the death of his daughter cause him to be so psychologically beaten that he wanted to lose the battle? That definitely looked like a broken man. Is this D&D's way of saying Stannis will not survive the siege of Winterfell in the books? While this scene made me accept that Stannis will most likely die in the Winds of Winter, but hopefully in a little more of a glorious way, I don't know if Stannis is necessarily going to die during the siege. I think maybe he could survive the siege and maybe dies afterwards when the others come down over the wall. This may have just been a shortcut to take care of the major bullet points for Stannis and for D&D to be able to move on and just focus on other characters. But is Stannis actually dead? They did a cutaway from him. Is it likely Brienne had a change of heart? I've really wanted Brienne to realize what Jaime was trying to teach her. Sometimes not fulfilling your duty is the best option. Could Brienne have realized she was making an error? Is it likely her obsession with avenging Renly subsided so that she could have a moment of clarity? Why would they show Stannis' death off screen? You showed us Jon Snow being stabbed over and over. You showed Trant's gruesome death. Why tease us? Didn't you give us enough potential cliffhangers this finale? Why do you do this to us, D&D? If Stannis isn't dead and he teams up with Brienne for Bolton revenge, that will quite possibly be the weirdest and funniest pairing. Stannis with his dry humor and teeth grinding, and Brienne with her really awkward speeches to random people. I imagine a lot of eye rolling and glaring. And I just want to say, for those thinking Ramsay lost nothing this episode, he lost his favorite toy, he lost his bed buddy, and he lost the one person that was bringing legitimacy to his claim on the North. Life is rough for Ramsay. I bet he only got to flay like 10 people after the battle. That poor bastard. Continuing with the North, Sansa's scenes weren't bad. We see she used the corkscrew to unlock her door, but then chose not to keep it in case she needed it as a weapon. I don't know, I don't really expect a traumatized teen to make super strategic decisions, so I kind of shrug that off. She then lights a candle in the window, which Brienne doesn't see because she looks away at the exact second when she hears Stannis is coming to Winterfell. Sansa then heads back from the tower window only to run into Miranda and Reek. I'm happy that Sansa had more of a backbone, telling Miranda to kill her while there's still some left of her, but I wish she would have been the one to push Miranda to her death. On the opposite side, though, I like the idea of the two Stark sisters going on different paths. Arya has been traumatized, and it led to her becoming an unforgiving assassin. Sansa could experience trauma, and maybe she transforms into something else that doesn't involve killing. And I know we needed to see Reek remember himself, and I like that Theon's back. I don't fault them for trying to show his change, but I really want to see, regardless of how Sansa changes after this trauma, I want to see her start to change and formulate a plan of how she's going to live and the actions she needs to take, not be a puppet anymore. Or maybe that's just the tragedy of her character. No matter how much she grows as a person, she will always be a puppet and she will die a puppet. But if we do see Sansa take on a darker turn like Arya, and she takes on some Stoneheart roles next season, I honestly would not be disappointed. Sansa has to be at least a little twisted after her experiences. Maybe she wants revenge at this point and realizes she needs to be the one to dish it out. What if the message isn't people can take different paths given trauma, but that anyone can go to a darker place regardless of where they started from, even a happy, wistful girl? Hell, Sansa already dresses like a Sith, so maybe it's time for Darth Sansa. Also, I'm 99% sure Theon and Sansa survived that jump. In Bravos, we learned that Trant was super evil, and that not only does he like having sex with little girls, but he gets off on beating them, just in case you were unsure if he should die. His stick breaking on Arya was a nice nod to how Trant broke Sario's stick, and now Arya broke Trant's stick. That was clever. I also really enjoyed Arya using the face of the girl she killed. Arya brutally killing Trant while torturing him was amazing, and that sounds terrible to say. I don't know if I like that they were trying hard to make Arya look like she was in the right, but my god, did they get the brutality of Arya's character down. Even though they mixed up the order of events for her from the books, they're doing a great job with her storyline. Even with the deviations, they are getting her character across. This girl becomes a stone cold killer. Arya being blinded at the end of the scene was perfect and exactly what I wanted. The Wall, they rickrolled us about Benjen, those sick bastards. Jon and Sam, here's what I don't understand. Jon is talking about how they don't have enough Valyrian steel / dragonglass to stop the others, and Sam doesn't tell him about the fucking dragonglass Stannis literally just told Sam about that was at Dragonstone. Really, Sam? Interesting switch of Sam telling Jon that he should send him to Old Town instead of Jon telling him to go. I think this was a way to avoid the whole Jon giving Gilly that really terrible ultimatum. How would show-only watchers react to Jon telling Gilly to leave her baby and raise another person's baby, or suffer the consequences? I really feel like they wanted Jon to keep looking like the good guy doing all the right things, and this switch was to maintain that Jon perfect illusion. Because even though I still felt bad for Jon being stabbed even after the screw-ups he made as Lord Commander in the books, I just don't think they had enough time to portray the dangerous line Jon was walking in the books. Okay, ready for stark loyalist opinion from a person that doesn't believe Jon is dead? Take the rest of my Jon Snow comments with a grain of salt from a girl that is a crazy Stark fan. I'm 99.99% sure Jon will be revived next season. Why would Melisandre show up at the Wall like that? And she may not even know she's reviving Jon. We've seen a resurrection that was done by accident. He said the only words that he knew at the lowest point in his life, and his friend came back. What if Mel is at the lowest point she's ever been, she performs the same words, and Jon comes back? Or does Melisandre somehow realize, maybe in a vision, that Jon is Azor Ahai and she revives him on purpose? On the stabbing, I was a little disappointed there was no wildling speech by Jon and we didn't see Ghost. I wanted to hear Jon utter his name, maybe see like eye change color, something. Does this mean Jon doesn't warg into Ghost? Or is this a way of simplifying the show? Would showing Jon's mind inside a wolf's body next season be too much? I could see D&D just straight resurrecting Jon over messing around with a CGI wolf breaking their budget. But if I am wrong and we see a Ghost Jon union before his resurrection, I'm all for this. Okay, done with my Jon Snow Stark fangirling. If you think he's dead for good, share your thoughts in the comments below and break my heart. Dorne, I am legitimately asking you this. What the hell did we watch all season with Dorne? I was waiting for some big payoff. Doran's reveal about his master plan, the Sand Snakes getting a greater mission, something. I don't know why Ellaria didn't use a slower poison. She had access to a person that knows about tons of poisons. She couldn't have found something that would kill her further away from Dorne? Was this a way of showing just how batshit crazy Ellaria is in the show? Is she so thirsty for vengeance she doesn't care how she gets it or the consequences? Because there's no way that Dorn wouldn't connect the poisoning to her if they turn the ship around. But why would they turn the ship around? If they don't know who poisoned Marcella and if she's actually dead, Jamie turning around the ship and confronting Dorn in Dorne, surrounded by a lot of loyal Dornish people, probably isn't a good idea if he thinks they are the ones that poisoned her. It might be better in his head to get to King's Landing and figure out a plan from there. A lot of people were upset by the bad pussy line. I thought it was funny, which is opposite of what they were going for because I'm pretty sure they were going for sexy. That line just cracked me up. But do you think they're going to cut back on the Sand Snakes next season given how unpopular they appeared this season? The show does tend to feature characters that are favorites more, and reduce the appearance of ones that don't resonate as well with the audience. But Doran needs to be in the next season. I want to see his master plan. Please let us see his master plan. Marine. Daenerys is hanging out with Drogon, and her dragon won't let her mount him, so Daenerys wanders off, and the Dothraki horde show up, and we see her drop her ring. D&D stated Daenerys dropped her ring as a breadcrumb, but what about the pile of charred bones that are literally within walking distance away? Maybe she was worried they wouldn't think the charred bones were fresh? I honestly thought she was taking off the ring due to not wanting to appear being remarried, since widows of Khals are sent away as seers and occasional advisors. Marrying after becoming a widow of a Khal is probably not a good idea. I wouldn't want to trample on the Dothraki customs, especially if a lot of them were currently circling me. The Dothraki circling her was a cool scene though, and very impressive. I want Daenerys to somehow convince the Dothraki to join her conquest of Westeros. Let me dream. Varys and Tyrion team up. Don't even care this hasn't happened in the books. We have all next season to kill Kevan and Pycelle. The odd couple ruling a city together? Yes, please. And what if a certain other Targaryen does show up next season? What if Varys introduces Tyrion to him? What if I keep holding on to hope for things that are probably never going to happen in the show? And to end on a positive note, Cersei's walk of shame was exactly how I imagined it. I love how she started to break down just like in the books. She wasn't looking around for other Lannisters like in the books, but without internal dialogue, many people would have missed why she was looking around, and it may have come off as confusing. And did we just get a Robert Strong is the Mountain confirmation? Yes, we did. Almost everyone assumed it was, but now we know for sure. Unless the showrunners are trolling us again. Clegane Bowl hypers, you are one step closer to your dreams. All in all, not a bad finale. Stannis ending and Brienne weren't my favorite and could have been executed better along with Dorne. Jon Snow's stabbing was well done and managed to make me feel awful all over again, just as traumatizing as from the book. Glad they left out Daenerys' diarrhea problem from the books. Looking forward to seeing Arya's progression next season and Cersei going crazy and trying to get retribution for the slights made against her. She's especially going to become more unhinged if Pycelle and Kevan are killed next season. Questions for you. Do you think Jon Snow is dead for good? And why is that a no? Do you think Stannis is actually dead? Do you think Sansa and Theon are going to the Wall, Iron Islands, or somewhere else? What will the Dothraki do with Daenerys? Will Jorah find true love before his grayscale consumes him? Write your thoughts below and make sure you come back every Sunday and Wednesday for a new Game of Thrones video. Giveaway announcement. The first giveaway is for one of these posters. Unfortunately, this artist only drew 3 of the Westeros houses, so hopefully you like Lannister, Targaryens, or Starks. If this isn't your style, don't worry, we'll be doing different poster giveaways in the future along with different Game of Thrones related items. This giveaway will go from Sunday, June 28th to Saturday, July 4th. All you have to do to enter is write a comment on any video published between those dates, and on July 6th, I will randomly select a comment and message that person. If you don't want to enter the giveaway but want to leave a comment on a video, don't worry. If I pick you, you can just say you'll pass and I'll pick the next person. This giveaway is international, but I can't provide tracking to any international packages, and international shipping can take anywhere from a week to a month plus. So you may have a long wait if you are an international winner. This giveaway is also for just one poster, so if you win, you just say which house you want, and then in 2 weeks we'll do another giveaway and the next person picks which house they want, and so forth until we run out of these posters. So thanks for watching.